Thanks very much for all of you for coming to this fantastic 10th anniversary Latin America Conference. It's a conference of education, of celebration and solidarity. And that solidarity is more necessary than ever. Not only because the changes and transformations that are underway in Latin America are under attack, but because what's taking place in Latin America today matters to us all more than at any time in its history. And to see why, you only have to wind back 20 years to the end of the Cold War, when we were told that we were living through the end of history, the triumph of the free market, the death of socialism, that there would be no alternative to neoliberal capitalism in the 21st century. And 2 decades on, that looks ridiculous. And it is the progressive tide that has swept Latin America that demonstrates that absurdity. Crucially, it was Latin America that was the first to experience the full impact of neoliberalism and the first to revolt against it. For decades, Latin America was mired in right-wing dictatorships, and only socialist Cuba stood alone against that. But it was the election of Hugo Chavez 16 years ago and Venezuela that spearheaded the backlash against that. It unleashed a wave of change that swept away the old political elites and brought to power radical socialist and social democratic governments from Ecuador to Brazil, from Bolivia to Argentina, challenging neoliberal dogma and US domination, attacking social and racial inequality, building grassroots democracy and regional integration, and taking back resources from corporate control. What's been taking place in Latin America is, of course, a multi-dimensional transformation. At the social and economic level, countries such as Venezuela and Ecuador have more than halved poverty, massively expanded free health and education, and boosted workers' and women's rights, public ownership and control. Then there's been the ethnic and regional transformation, symbolized by the election of the first indigenous president in South America ever, Bolivia's Evo Morales, as well as the drive towards regional economic integration, bringing Cuba into the heart of the process of change and laying the basis of the first truly independent Latin America for 500 years. On top of that, there's been the democratic and constitutional revolution that is taking place across the region, and the groundbreaking experiments in direct democracy. And finally, swathes of Latin America have exercised their right to self-determination, kicking out US military bases and asserting an independent foreign policy in cooperation with the rising power of the so-called BRIC states. But most important of all, I would say, is the global impact. 20 years after we were told there were no alternatives, Latin America has shown that neoliberal capitalism can be rejected, that new forms of socialism can be constructed, and that another world is not only possible, but it's being created right now.